everyone is still waiting for the movie version of the AI apocalypse. You know the one. The T-800 kicks down the office door, lasers start flying, and everyone gets a pink slip on the same Tuesday. But that's not how this works. The reality of 2026 isn't a sudden explosion. It's a quiet, structural delete key. While the news cycle screams about robots taking over, the actual mechanism is much quieter. It's boring, it's bureaucratic, and it is infinitely more effective. It's called the Markov Trap. It doesn't fire you, it just slowly, politely strips away your decision-making power until your job description is mostly just existing. You aren't being replaced by a robot. You're being replaced by a drop-down menu. Here's the blueprint. It happens in 8 specific stages, or bridges. Bridge 1, the assist. This is the honeymoon phase. You get an AI co-pilot. You feel like a superhero. You're crushing emails, drafting code, and moving like a blur. But here's the trade. Every time you correct that AI, you aren't just doing your job. You're training the model that learns how you do your job. You are literally feeding your judgment into the machine. Bridge 2, the shift from creator to reviewer. The AI stops asking for help and starts offering suggestions. And because human brains are wired for efficiency, which is just a fancy word for laziness, we start accepting the defaults. You start writing the legal brief, you just scan it. You start writing the code, you just vibe check it. You think you're the manager, but really, you have become an incredibly expensive spell checker. Sounds like a conspiracy theory. Let's look at the receipts. Look at Klarna. CEO Sebastian Siemiatkowski isn't hiding the ball. Since 2022, they've cut their workforce almost in half, from 5,500 down to under 3,000. No mass riots, no single red wedding firing event, just a slow leak. They froze hiring, let people leave naturally, and plugged the holes with AI agents. The result? The remaining staff, the super workers, got a 60% raise. But the entry-level jobs? They didn't just go away, they vaporized. Klarna's AI assistant now handles 2/3 of customer service chats. It does the work of 850 full-time humans while you're still making coffee. That's not a productivity tool. That is a structural replacement of the human layer. Then there's IBM. CEO Arvind Krishna didn't say you're fired. He just said we're pausing hiring for 7,800 roles. That's corporate speak for we are structurally deleting these humans from our future. And Salesforce? They're pivoting to the agentic enterprise. They're trading marketing managers for autonomous agents that don't need coffee breaks, health insurance, or empathetic leadership. Why is this happening? Is it because CEOs hate people? No, it's because Wall Street changed the scorecard. The new North Star metric is RPE, revenue per employee. In the old days, like 2023, if your company made $200,000 per employee, you were a star. Today, if you aren't hitting a cool million per head, investors look at you like you're burning cash in the parking lot. This creates a cost of capital penalty, and if a CEO wants to keep humans, the market punishes their stock price. So they automate, not because they're villains, but because the algorithm of the stock market demands it. Here's the massive irony of 2026. We call it the inverted automation hypothesis. We all thought robots would come for the blue-collar jobs first. Wrong. It turns out, building a robot hand that can fix a leaky pipe is incredibly hard and expensive. But building an LLM that can write a mediocre marketing blog, that costs fractions of a cent. So the screen jobs, lawyers, coders, analysts, are in the blast radius. The hand jobs, electricians, nurses, mechanics, are safer. This leads to the ugliest part of the Markov Trap, the ghost job. The role still exists on the org chart, junior analyst, but there's no human in it. The login credentials just belong to an agent. This is the entry-level massacre. We are effectively sawing off the bottom rungs of the career ladder. If you can't get a junior job to learn the ropes, how do you ever become the senior expert? We're creating a generation with an experience gap that we can't code our way out of. Now, the regulators are trying to fight back. The EUAI Act has a section called Article 14. It demands meaningful human oversight. Basically, they want to make sure a human is actually checking the AI's work, not just rubber stamping it. But here's the problem. It's the solve, verify asymmetry. It takes the AI 1 second to generate a 50-page legal contract. It takes a human 4 hours to actually read and verify it. In a high-pressure, high-throughput office, who has 4 hours? No one. So what happens? You glance at it, it looks right, and you click approve. You haven't verified anything. You've just become a liability sponge for the algorithm. This brings us to the final stage of the trap, the macro calm. The economy looks fine. GDP is up. Productivity is up 5%. But labor costs, they're falling. That gap between the money the company makes and the money it pays you is exactly where the Markov Trap lives. The trap doesn't end with a bang. It ends with a quiet office where the only sound is the hum of a server rack making decisions that used to be yours. The job title survives, but the power inside it has migrated into the software defaults. So, are we doomed? Is it time to go live in the woods and trade in pelts? Not necessarily, but the game has changed. The Markov Trap relies on you giving up. It relies on you accepting the default because it's easier than thinking. The only way to survive the great reality is to refuse to be the rubber stamp. The job title doesn't matter anymore. The power is in decision ownership. Don't be the person who pushes the button. Be the person who decides if the button gets pushed at all. Because pretty soon, that's going to be the only human job left on the payroll.